In its most basic sense, sea salt or solar salt is the result of seawater evaporation in places where the climate is generally warm. This method of salt production has been apparent in salt's history and is very sustainable considering that it is mostly dependent on these natural resources, the sun and wind. The process is very simple, easy to follow, and it works like this. Salt water is captured in shallow ponds called salt evaporation ponds where the sun evaporates most of the water. There are two types of salt ponds that are used in solar salt production. The concentrating pond is where the salt water is concentrated, while the crystallizing pond is where the salt is produced and harvested. These small artificial lakes are designed to aid the process of salt extraction from the seawater. As the humid air rises, the wind blows it away, keeping the ponds dry. When enough water has been removed from the pond, the salt starts to crystallize. The formed salt crystals are then removed by the salt farm workers, sometimes on their own and sometimes with the help of harvesting machines. Sea salt production is heavily dependent on the natural cycle of the weather. In places wherein salt farming is considered a local industry, the varying climates in areas all around the world determine if a certain country or province can produce sea salt of usable quality. According to research, the looming effects of climate change have heavily impacted different industries, such as salt farming, especially in developing countries. Despite being dependent on the sun and wind, sea salt production would have never made it this far if it weren't for the hard-working and dedicated salt farmers that have kept the industry afloat after all these years.